to buy the Whittakers a new home. The title of the GoFundMe is Help the Whittakers Purchase a New Home. Now, I asked Betty what's going on with the money. She says, Mark says we've run out of money. What house? What do you mean, basically? So I uploaded this to my video, and I open-endedly asked Mark, what's going on with the GoFundMe? Where's the money? I did not accuse him of doing anything. I did not call him names. I merely asked the question I myself was curious about, and thousands of other people in Mark's own channel had asked him, and I would imagine that includes many people who have donated to the cause, which is to help buy them a new home.
So is Mark Laita scamming the people? Because here's another bigger YouTuber with also the millions of followers calling Mark Laita out. Is Mark Laita from Soft White Underbelly scamming the people? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Every two weeks to a month, which if you go through the transaction, he's basically sending a couple grand every 2 weeks, every month, quite frequently. He's sending them the money as they ask. There's no money left in the GoFundMe. As the money comes in, the GoFundMe, the money goes out of the GoFundMe. Now, this is a great update. Kudos to Mark for giving them the money. They are in fact entitled because the donors gave the Whittakers the money, not Mark. Many people are saying, I've basically ruined the relationship between them, when in reality, that's between them. If Mark wants to cut them off for not maybe fully understanding the situation, and he is that frustrated that one person with a platform asked the question of what's going on with a public GoFundMe with public funds donated to the GoFundMe by strangers who care about these people, if me asking that question has elicited a response in which he cancels GoFundMes forever because it calls into question what? The timeline in which he intends on giving these people the money, his ethics.
I think it's awesome that bigger YouTubers like Tyler are questioning and are requesting transparency, because clearly somebody like myself who has had questions about Mark Laita and the way in which he does things, we're never going to get an answer. We just aren't. We're considered trolls, or we're considered whatever. So shout out to him for having the cojones to do it. Shout out to him.
I'm asking a very basic update question of, hey, there's a lot of people that have donated to this GoFundMe. What's going on with the money? Pure, simple, cut and dry. Didn't accuse him of being a scammer. Didn't call him any names. I merely asked what was going on.
Now, we have called out Mark Laita for a lot of things, right? Transparency definitely being one of them. I'm so glad to see that bigger YouTubers like Tyler are also calling for a level of transparency from Mark. Yeah, I think it's important.
Here. Mark's frustration is that I didn't email him personally, which I asked him open-endedly on the video, and we now have this update. So it has taken all this time and all of this money for me to ask one question that he has now responded to, and we now all have clarity that the GoFundMe to get them a home was never going to happen. He's been sending them their money the entire time, which is good and expected. And honestly, if he was just a little bit transparent with, hey, here's the update, guys, here's how your money's being spent. Keep in mind, this isn't his money that he's spending. He is the manager of the funds donated to the GoFundMe for them. If he just sent that update, me and so many other people would not have been so confused and asked the question.
I guess it's not a scam per se, but if the money's not going to buying a house, which is what people are donating for and what the GoFundMe says, then what do you call that?
I just asked the question of what was going on. His response is obvious frustration and the receipt showing the transfers, which that's good. Thank God he's actually sent them the money. I think that's great. I think this easily could have been avoided if he just provided an adequate update here and there. But the people are sending him their money with the expectation that it went towards a house. They were in the dark. No one knew how this was being allocated until I asked this question. No one knew what was happening with the money. No one knew what was going on. I think it is our job to ask these questions, even if they're a bit uncomfortable. I think he's frustrated we didn't ask him directly. My involvement has nothing to do with it. Your reaction to this is of your own accord. I never intended this to be a personal attack towards Mark. I think it was a very reasonable question that I and many other people had of what's going on with this money. What's the update? His response to all this is interesting. If one person with a voice elicited this reaction, I'm not sure what to make of that. But to Mark's credit, the money was sent. Whatever amount of money we raise by the end of this month will be sent to the Whittakers with receipts and videos.
Now, you let me know your thoughts in the comments about this whole situation. Does Mark Laita owe people some answers? Transparency? I mean, if you're asking for money for people, from people, I think so. I think yes.